Welcome back to A Mountain Echo. It's your boy Frankie, and that is Jonah Gallegos at NM Prepco Sports. If you haven't followed, if you haven't subscribed, don't forget to do that because that is the best journalism in Las Cruces. And this is A Mountain Echo, best podcast in Las Cruces. Isn't that a coincidence? That's a crazy coincidence, Jonah. What do you think?
We the best music. DJ Khaled, baby.
Well, speaking of the best, we played one of the best this week. We're going to get started here with NMSU basketball. And, there was some hope. That's not NMSU basketball. There was some hope here for us to, show some life. There were some signs of life, anyways. There was a buzzer beater against Liberty that was just a crusher. Uh, let's just get started there on that one. We had a lead, we were doing well, but it was just a mid-range shot, good inbounds play, and we lost in the last second. So, Jonah, did you watch that game?
I did. Fortunate for me, Isaiah and my sister gave me their low bottom court, whatever you call it, seats. So I had a
Hmm.
good shot at that last second shot. Unfortunately,
Yeah, that was. I'm trying to pull it up now. Um,
oh, I thought
I
you had a
want to
clip
just
of it. I was like, please don't show that.
No, I don't have a clip of it, and I actually don't know what the rules are. We should probably look into it. But I just wanted to open up the box score on this. Oh, I'm way down low here on this game because you know we've been talking about offensive efficiency, and I mean the defense was there. I mean 70 points is always like that threshold that coach is always talking about.
Yeah,
But I mean, all the key players were playing really well. You had 23 points from Jamel. You had Mims, who's we watched the game together, and I, I think we're both pretty big fans of Mims. He's not a traditional big man as you would like him to be, and we've talked about him. He's like actively losing weight, so he's becoming more of a I don't know what the position is, but just a smaller forward, right? um, but he's doing really well. But it just then
yeah.
came the guys that usually we see that play well in Elliott. He only had 2 points on that game against Liberty. Jonah, did you notice them trying to double team? What was the strategy? Why was Elliott struggling so much on Tuesday?
I don't think it was so much what Liberty did. I think it was just he's been kind of on a uh like like with any sport like baseball. He's kind of like a little 0 for streak. So, but good for us that not to go past this game, but he made like 10 free throws against Jack State. So
Hmm.
hopefully, kind of those, and he was perfect from the line there. So hopefully that game kind of let him see the ball go into the net and gave his confidence back. But yeah, Liberty didn't really do much, and we were in a perfect position to win that game. I don't think it was so much like I said on my little column that I don't think it was so much on the coaching this time. I think Coach Hewlin put us in a good position. I think it was just the execution by the players, and sometimes they're gonna fall, sometimes they're not. It was like 73-70 with 2 minutes left. We were up by three, and we really had a chance to extend that lead and then get a stop, but we couldn't do either of those. And that jumper by Cleveland, it just kind of shows you the magic of Liberty this year. But the good thing is, like, there's so much parity in this league that they're just like we keep saying it. That it's just a good conference. It's just all about matchups. The only team that we haven't really matched up well against or got blown out by was Kennesaw State, but that was
Hmm.
the end of January, and we played them in the last game of the season. So there's a good way to correct that for the last game. But honestly too that Liberty just had that killer instinct, and I think the Aggies could get that. In my when I was kind of going a little nuts on the close to the floor. I was screaming more than I usually do. So like I kept on saying, "It's time, let's go, it's time like to turn it on," because we were in a position to extend the lead. And right after I said that, Liberty's like one of their assistant coaches told their team like it's time, like turn it up, and that's when they started kind of just sinking shots and stuff. And I think the Aggies can adopt that attitude. Like they're going to be fine. I said in a column that don't let us in. Don't let us get into the tournament
Yeah.
because if we do, we're capable of winning 2 games, and that puts us, depending on what seed we get, if we get there, into the championship game or the semifinals game. And at that point, anything can happen in March. And so I feel really good where this team was. I mean, Jack State was second in the conference when we played them. They had now dropped to, I think, 3 or 4. And so, like, yeah, like none of these records really reflect. Unfortunately, we have to be top 10 to get in, but that could all
Hmm.
change this week if you beat UTEP.
Yeah, if we beat UTEP, and then we play, well, I guess that won't be to the following week, but then we're going to do um, another road trip. But
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, you almost beat one of the two top four teams in the conference. And to your point, right, you want to be positive and say that we can get into any tournament and win it. We can also show up and lose by 30. It just feels like we don't know what
Yeah.
kind of team we're gonna get. It's just so unpredictable. You don't know who's gonna have their shot, and it just feels sometimes like coach just has lost control of the team completely, which is what it felt like when we're playing Kennesaw and we're playing these teams where we even get off to a really good lead and then we just lose it. So I've always been a believer of Coach Hooten. I was really sad recently. Some of his press conferences, he just seems defeated. Where it's like, hey, we just got to go out there and play. He's got nothing else to say. Um, it's not desperate. It's just the reality. What else is he supposed to say? So it's time to turn it on. It's now for us. It's now tournament basketball. I think that's just the mindset that we have to go into. That you, losing is unacceptable. If you say
Yeah.
you are who you say you are, if you are who you say you are, losing is unacceptable from now on. And let's make it to the tournament, man. That's still a possibility. When Isaiah's not here, if you guys haven't noticed, um, um, the first take that he had when he came back this year was that this team was going to be able to win a conference championship. And we kind of laughed at him because it's just kind of funny. That's his first take, and we're like, bro, we're struggling. But he's not off by too much. Where it's unfortunate that we haven't been able to win some of these tight games, but we're 1 or 2 possessions away from getting 2 or 3 of those wins that we have in the loss column, and it would be a completely different story. But the biggest thing, Jonah, a fun fact, I was just looking at this. We have not won a home game since January 8th.
Oh, wow.
We've won one home game
Really?
all year. Hmm.
For the conference, right?
In the season, we've gone to, I mean, we want to backtrack, right? So we lost to Liberty at home, and then we lost to Delaware at home. We lost to FIU at home. We lost to Missouri State at home. That was 3 games in a row there, 3 home games that we had in a row. Lost all of them. And then we hosted Middle Tennessee, and we lost by 4. That was one that we really thought we were going to be able to handle.
Yeah.
That was a loss right after we had beat Western Kentucky, and we're like, sweet, let's get into a roll of things. New year, we can figure it out. And we lost to a Middle Tennessee team that I don't think we should have. So really the last home game that we won was against Western Kentucky on January 8th. And before that, you got to go to the University of Southwest in Hobbs to the
Yeah.
December 8th game. So we've won one home game all year.
Makes sense. I forget that we're in the new year. At first, I was like, wait, no. But yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yep.
You're completely right.
In the calendar year, we have not won it. We've
Yeah.
only won one home game. Yeah. That's not a great statistic to have when the first 3 weeks of the season we're 7-0. We're talking about, where's our region going to be? Where are we going to go watch this March Madness? We're thinking about that, and now we're like, okay, let's make a conference tournament. So good luck to the boys. They're playing UTEP on Saturday. That's going to be a lot of fun. That one is going to be at home, and we got to sell that baby out, man. There's no excuse. That's going to be a big one. no matter what. Uh, Don Haskins Center, they do whatever they want. I think a lot of our fans go and sell out. But the real Battle of I-10 game is always at the Pan American Center. So,
Yeah, what's up with it? Yeah, I mean, we're at top of the still at the top of the Conference USA for attendance and all that. It's like
mhm,
average like going 5,000, but that's pretty good still. I mean, compared to these other Conference USA teams. But I also want to touch on like, yeah, you're right. Like we're a couple of close games away from flip flopping our record. So I want
mhm,
people to remember that too. And you talked about the inconsistency. We talked about it like for a long time, but these past 4 or 5 games, ever since the UTEP game, I believe, um, they've been consistent. Like putting out good energy, playing hard. They just haven't been able to close out games. But Jack State, we saw different Aggies. I mean, we were solid from the free throw line, which is hit or miss for us in recent
mhm,
years. Julius Mims is starting to play like, not that he doesn't give out his all, but he's playing more consistent throughout the game. Sometimes I feel like in the past he's kind of taken plays off, or just kind of maybe is lacking that, or maybe just you know playing so many minutes he's tired. So, but he's fighting through it now, I think. And so yeah, I think it's encouraging for the fans. Hopefully they get off Hoon's back on social media. He seems in better moods. He's starting to post his normal stuff on X, I've noticed. And so it's definitely exciting. We're going to be okay. I think if we can sneak in there, no one's going to want to play us for sure.
yeah, no one. I mean, we're gonna end up having to play maybe like a Liberty again, right? That's just gonna be the reality. And on a, well, Liberty's technically at home, right? Because they're from Lynchburg, Virginia. Is that where they, or not Virginia? Um,
Yeah, 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 you're right. Yeah.
yeah, okay. I think that's where the tournament is hosted.
No, I think it's in
No, it's in a
Huntsville, Alabama.
Lynchburg, Huntsville. That's what it is. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So, I
Huntsville,
mean, maybe
Alabama.
I don't know my map, so I don't know how. I'm sure a lot of those teams over there will travel good. Unfortunately for us, that's a few states away. So I mean, when we one day we'll go there.
I mean, we all traveled happily to Vegas. I know Huntsville is not Vegas, but uh,
Yes, we did. We had fun in Vegas. Good old whack Vegas, baby.
yes, we did. Anything else for NMSU athletics or NMSU basketball on the men's side before we get to the women?
I did have something, but I forgot. But I'll bring it up when I get it back in
Okay,
my head.
cool. Well, let's move over to the women's side. They've been on a struggle bus as well. They
Yeah.
lost to Liberty and they lost to Delaware. The Delaware game that happened on Thursday, I thought was, that was a close one. I actually didn't look to see what their standings are as far as conference. Um, but I watch them as they go. Look at an
Hmm.
epic 1,196 in attendance there.
Hey, that's
Uh,
more than the last time. Last
yeah,
time it was like 500, I think.
yeah. Emma, I think had a. Is this the one where she had a buzzer beater at halftime, right before halftime?
I
She shot
saw
it
that. I
up,
saw you post
and
that. I think you're
I
right.
smile. I smiled. I was like, Cruce's girls have been doing the halftime or the half court shots before um, like their pre-game ritual is for somebody
Yeah.
to hit a half court shot. So I was just laughing of like, man, how many times did she shoot that from half court in high school, and then now being
Yeah.
able to make a shot like that in high school in college is pretty cool just to see a full circle. Especially, she was back at Cruces High just a few weeks before that uh, to get an award at Las Cruces High School. So that was kind of a cool little poetic justice there for her. But yeah, that Delaware game, Emma, she had 10 points, 2 steals, a couple turnovers. She had some rebounds, but a solid performance from her. She got into double digits, and then Lucia, who's always one of the top scorers for the girls, she dropped 18 uh, in this Delaware game.
Yeah, same thing with them. I mean, if they get in, March basketball is different. They just need a couple of shots to go down. Um, like we said, they had the beginning of the season where they play these crazy top ranked opponents, gave them that good experience. So I like I said, they have a good coach at their helm too. So if they can just sneak in, I think they might be like 11th or 12th in their standings for the conference.
Hmm.
But yeah, anything can happen. I just keep their heads up, and they're in most of these games. Liberty, just
Yeah.
like the men, are good. So we can't really judge too much on that loss.
Yeah, the Delaware, then Liberty is they are essentially a powerhouse. Um, yeah,
Do
7-6 in
we
conference.
let me ask you this: do you think we're establishing a rivalry with them in all sports?
With Liberty, yeah, you know who they're
Remind you
replacing
of?
is Grand Canyon.
Oh, I don't think Liberty's gonna like that, but that's true. That's true. I mean,
That's
we
where
did
they're at.
dominate against Grand Canyon. For all you, what do they call them? Havocs or something? Their little fans section.
I don't know. Is
Uh,
that it's not even a school anymore, right? Wasn't there like some type of fake
I don't know.
school, something like that? I don't know. Now
I don't know.
I'm replacing the Isaiah of the crazy takes and
I know. Damn.
accusations.
Okay. You
No,
said that,
I
not
heard
me.
something
Go
in
on.
the
Say it.
news where their accreditations and their credits were not.
Mm.
Something was going on with it a couple years
Oh
back.
yeah.
I'm not sure if they fixed it. I don't know where GCU is nowadays, but I mean, Liberty is they've invested a lot of money into their athletics, investing a lot of time and effort into the coaches and the recruiting and making sure they have. So that's why I say they resemble a lot of Grand Canyon, where we didn't really see them, and then all of a sudden, boom, they're
Yeah.
they're a problem, right? And so it's no insult. They are a problem. They're someone we have to see. Football, always a pain in the ass. Basketball, it don't matter what sport.
Yeah.
I don't think they have a baseball program. I haven't seen them. Are they? Do they have a? Are they in the Conference USA for baseball?
That's a
I
good.
don't think. I
That's a good question. I
yeah.
assume so, but you never know. With I remember like Sac State a couple of years ago in the WAC only had baseball, I believe. They didn't have football. Now they have football.
Hmm.
Anyways, yeah, maybe you're right. Yeah, but I mean, their facilities are super nice, and
Yeah.
I heard from Alan Ortiz, who I did a story with. He was a walk on for the football team. He just like went to town. Like he's like, yeah, their stuff is beautiful. Like, that was one of his favorite stadiums to play at when he was going through his college career.
Ortiz, that's the guy who plays for NMSU, right? That you interviewed.
Yeah, he's a
Yeah.
walk
Okay.
on, and he did his own NIL because walk-ons don't really get their NIL money, but he did get some. He said
Okay.
pretty much for proving his loyalty to the program. I mean, he stayed for what 3 years. He was with that second year team of Coach Kill and Diego, and they got the
Hmm.
10 wins. So he's been here for a good minute.
Cool. Is he done? Is he graduated? I'm trying to remember your article. He's done, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he finished up I think last semester, and then he had his pro day the other day. So hoping all that went well for him.
Cool. Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that. He's from New Mexico.
Played in Western New Mexico for his beginning of his I think freshman sophomore years. Transferred here, but he's from Colorado. I can't remember the actual place, but he went to like a small 3A school in Colorado and committed to Western, and then transferred here as a walk on.
Okay. Gotcha. Cool. Well, yeah, good luck to the women. It's always nice when we can have something to enjoy, have some type of March Madness, even though it's one game. Even when
Hmm.
we make the tournament, it's like one and done usually, which is super frustrating. We were a couple free throws away from being able to win last year,
Uh,
or
yeah,
yeah, last year.
yeah,
Eh,
that's right. Yeah,
yeah. So
yeah. We
we'll
watched that
see.
on the road coming back from state. We were a little sad
Yeah, and
from
Steven broke
state
down, and
and
it took us 7 hours to get back from from
yeah, dude.
Albuquerque.
I'm taking my own car this time when we go to state. I'm letting you know right now. I
Well,
don't trust any of
you and
your
I were
cars.
not the problem. The thing was, that Steven wanted to go on his own. My car was fine. Now something's gonna happen just because I said that. But
No, no.
I mean, we were good. We drove up, we drove down. Nothing. It was freaking Steven. Shout out to Steven. He's out there doing the Lord's work.
Yeah.
Um, let me quickly uh, let's get into some NMSU golf here.
Some
some
golf
golf talk
talk.
presented by Surf and Turf Golf. I'm wearing one of their hats. It's a dope one. They have another one that has like floral if you like the floral on it. Um, so there you go. Go check it out, surfandturfgolf.com. You get a 20% promo code. Scan the QR code if you want, or just go to the website and use promo code ECHO. You'll get 20% off on that. So the men's golf team, they are in Laredo, Texas right now. Uh, Steven should go see them. I think he's down there somewhere, right? He's somewhere in South
Yeah,
Texas.
you should. Yeah, go watch you some good
He
golf.
I don't know. We got to send him one of our press passes, I guess. I don't know. But we
That's fine.
are we're tied for third right now. It's a 2-day event, and we're tied for third with three under. Uh, in um, leading to North Texas. As you guys can see, Houston right now is in the number one spot, shooting one under, which is not a big lead. It's a four-stroke lead. We got four guys that are playing. So um, one of the highlights is Javier Delgadillo, who I've mentioned is from the local area. He's from El Paso, I believe. Um, there's a couple guys from Cruces and El Paso, but Javier Delgadillo has been shooting really well. He is he went round one in the morning and he shot a 70, so one under par, and then he shot even. So he right now is our team leader with Mateo right behind him. With the same score, they shot the same exact thing, one under first round, and then even the second round. So some hopeful shots there. They're the ones who are carrying us right now, and that
What
one will
year are they?
be. You know what? I had it written down on my notes. I don't think we have many seniors. I think Javier is a junior.
Oh, that's
Javier
good.
is a
That's good
junior,
to
and then I have not. I've only looked into our local, and I don't believe
know. Okay.
Mateo is from here. I wonder if it shows where he's from. First year,
Wow.
but it doesn't say where he's at or where he's from. So I apologize. He's gonna. I know there is no one. The other one that's from Centennial is on the girls' side. So
Oh, wow.
a lot of these guys are. Some of them are international.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, Javier. Shout out to him. He is carrying him and Mateo are carrying right now. Individually, they're tied for eighth, and um, we'll see what happens. The
So
lead is
how
only
many players
six.
can they have?
It
Sorry, I
depends
didn't
on
mean
the
to interrupt.
tournament. Usually four.
Okay. There's
Maybe I
some.
can ask Taylor Taylor Artman, uh, owner of Surf and Turf, to join us one of
Yeah.
these days. Just like I know I've had really long road trips with him when we worked and we're doing trade shows and that kind of stuff. And the way that he described it to me is that it really is a team sport where even your lowest shooter, if he's really down, it's all by average and points. You need your guys playing well, so you need a solid anchor. Even though you might have,
Yeah.
your ace, the one who's always going to be the number one golfer. You just never know because you're on the golf course, and maybe they'll tell you who's doing good and who's bad, but it's really a team effort. So he, like I had mentioned, he's a national champion. He won in the NAIA. So um, in the golf world, that a lot of times being D1 doesn't necessarily mean you're better. Uh,
Yeah.
some of these guys are staying where their coaches are, where they've played before, and where they've been training because they're preparing for a PGA card. They're waiting for that invitation to go professional. So um, it just it is what it is, and so you never know. Just looking at the teams, you always have your stronger schools, and NMSU is one of those schools that is really focused on golf because we have a PGA program, so you can
Yeah.
actually make a career out of golf with the programs that we have here. So a lot of these guys are doing that because of that, and then we have nice weather. It rains here what 5 times a year, so
Well, it's about to get windy, brother.
Yeah, it is. And even then, the wind is also, you got to get used to the wind. But as long as it's not raining, it's not hailing, it's not, that's what you want out of a golf course. So the South, the West Coast is really popular for golf. So
Let's go. There's some big teams on that list. We're above. or close to as well.
Yeah, 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 I don't know if this is the full list. I had seen another list. It's also really hard to find information. But yeah, I mean, Houston is ranked 50, so I mean,
Dang.
not fantastic, but the fact that we're up there, um,
Say it's Houston, brother.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So
But
shout out to
it
them.
seems similar to cross country. That's kind of how cross country is when I did a story on them. Like you need everyone, even if like you aren't in the top, whatever. Like your points still count. So that's cool. That's a lot of pressure too for four dudes or girls.
Every putt, you can't check out mentally for that. So even though it's like a short putt, you're down, maybe having a bad day, you never know what's happening ahead of you or what's going to happen behind you. So you just have to continue to just play your best no matter what. You can't just give up on a hole and just be like, how I usually play, it's like, all right, just pick up your ball.
Yeah, you're gonna
You
get
gotta
beat up by
push
your
through, man.
teammates, brother, if you don't perform. Just saying.
Yeah, there's different rules on like what tools you can use to help you. Taylor, he tells the story better, but he had to tell on himself. You're walking out there with a partner who's not on your team, and you have
Hmm.
to kind of make sure that both of you guys are keeping the score right, that you're following the rules. You can't use a rangefinder when you're out there in like a competitive match, essentially. Um,
Hmm.
and it depends on which ones. And so you always have your rangefinder on you. And he says that he used it one time, and he's like, "Oh no, I just cheated," and he just walked off the golf course. Him and his playing partner both walked off and said, "Yeah, we did this. And they told on themselves." So when you're out
Because
there
they use
keeping
the
score, it's
rangefinder.
on your own. Yeah, there's certain rules for it.
It's just habit, huh? Probably. I mean, probably accidentally
Yeah,
took it out.
when
Maybe. I
you're
don't know.
doing a friendly match, or you're just out there practicing, and then there's certain tournaments where they'll allow you to do it, and others that you don't, and so it's an honor system for sure. There's a lot of honor in doing in playing golf and in being honest, and there's guys that will follow it, and there's guys that don't. So um, yeah,
That's
but
tough.
cool. That's golf talk for us. Excited. We'll talk a little bit more about spring sports uh, later on in the episode for high school, especially us going to the uh, spring media day. And we did have a few kids from each of the golf teams in the city, and they're excited. Uh, they're excited to play and excited to go out there. Mayfield still plays at Picacho Hills, which is it just turned into a little bit more public, but it's been a private golf
Okay.
course forever. Anthony was on the golf team for Mayfield, and man, just talked about how nice those greens were in that golf course in Picacho Hills, Centennial, and I think Centennial and Cruces both go to NMSU, and Oregon Mountain goes to Sonoma Ranch and practices there. So each one of those are different courses. They all have their different level of difficulty. I was able to talk to the Mayfield golf coach, and he was saying that there's going to be some challenges because Picacho Hills golf course is not like any other golf course that they've been playing. So even where you're playing is very different, right? It's like you play on a football field, it's 100 yards, it is what it is. But different
How is it
grass,
different?
the way they grow the grass is different. Just the layout of
Mm,
the course. Some tees are shorter than others. The bunkers are different. If you go play at Sonoma Ranch right now, all the bunkers
hmm.
are rock. It's disgusting. It's gross, right? And
Oh
so if that's
gosh.
what you're practicing on, you don't get a quality bunker. And if you're
Yeah.
playing at Picacho Hills, where it's really nice, that can help you or hurt you because now you got a team that's been practicing on essentially rocks and struggling to hit those, but you never know where you're going to go. You're never going to know what the condition is going to look like on any given um, tournament that you go play, right? So there's some gamesmanship there as well on making sure that hey, we're practicing on all different types of situations, and it is what it is. Even when you get to the green, the ball's going to roll faster or slower depending on how that green is kept up. So like a Red Hawk, is a really nice. They have really nice greens most of the time. They're a lot
I was gonna
faster.
ask you about that. Yeah.
So you got to roll the ball really slow. And
Hmm.
if it's really bumpy, what your feel is for a 10-foot putt is going to be different at Sonoma Ranch than it is at Red Hawk, than it will be at Picacho Hills. So you have to really go and that's what they do. They do play a few rounds. You got to go play on the course, man, and feel it out. And you got to learn on the go.
Sheesh. Yeah,
It's
golf
pretty
is not my
interesting.
strong suit, but kudos to all of you guys. Damn,
Don't kudos me, man. I'm terrible. I know what I'm talking about,
you're decent.
but I
You're better than
I
most.
could shoot a I could shoot under 100. So we'll see. I have more shots. I take more shots than I do get birdies, and I mean alcohol. So it's
As
fun.
long as you
It's
beat
fun.
your brother-in-law, you'll be fine.
Oh yeah, Mark has no chance. Any of you listening who know Mark, do not listen to him because he likes to walk around and say he's good at golf. That boy will lose 3 balls and say he marked me down for a double bogey.
It's a
Huh?
comp. Yeah,
Make that
that's
make
funny.
sense.
He's like, yeah, I don't know. The hawk in the air threw me off. It's fine. I love you, Mark.
Good old Mark. It's his birthday. Happy birthday, Mark. He just celebrated today. I should probably call him. I mean, we celebrated yesterday, but today
Yeah.
is Mark's birthday, so happy birthday to him.
Happy
Uh,
birthday, OG.
cool. Well, that's golf talk. Thanks, Surf and Turf, for bringing that to us. Appreciate y'all. Now let's get into some some high school basketball, man. This is where it's really heating up. Everyone that's just now tuning in, welcome. Welcome here. You just clicked onto the description onto high school boys basketball, and here we are. It's heating up. Basketball season, the regular season is winding down, and these are the standings currently as of February 16th. We have the Las Cruces Bulldogs at 4, which I thought they were going to move a little bit more after that loss to Oregon Mountain. And then Centennial is at number 9. You have Oregon Mountain at number 12 and Mayfield at 13. There's some positives and some negatives here, but I want to get your first impressions, Jonah, on the rankings. What you think of the teams now that everything's kind of settled down, and we're about to get picked up again with another shake, man. You just put every team in the district in a box and just shake it up and just pull out a name, and that's essentially who's going to win because everybody's just beating each other up. And as coach said, that's happening in other districts. But give us your insider information here and your expertise opinion on these rankings. What is Max Preps telling us with these new rankings?
I don't know what's going on with the max preps, but like, what does Oregon Mountain have to do to move up a couple of spots? I had a lot of parents kind of reach out to me, kind of. I appreciate them reaching out to me and asking me like, why aren't they moving up? As if I'm the guy that controls max preps, but like a lot of people have told me, they don't. It's a lot of I don't want to say AI, but it's like a lot of computer stuff that
Yeah.
ranks them, based on strength of schedules, who they played, other people. There's not a really a lot of people input into it, but that's where the coaches poll comes into play, and you see a lot more, you know, I guess stuff in there. But that's going to have a lot of play whenever they because the coaches have a chance to rank at the end of the season when they kind of do the seedings, and that takes a lot of into the criteria into NMA seeding process. But I think Oregon Mountain's Cruces' kryptonite or something because
Mm-hmm.
um, after that first tournament championship win against them, they really dominated. But these district games where it matters most, we just haven't seen the Cruces team we're used to seeing. Um, they take Jaden Brisby out of it. They take Ben Walton out of it. For some reason they can't shoot the three ball as good as they usually do. And then Nathaniel Pete just always has a good game against them. Um, their three balls are always falling whenever they play Cruces. Maximus Popescu was going off, bro. Like he was
Yeah.
little Steph Curry. He was getting to the basket. He's not big or stocky muscle wise, but he was finishing, getting those and ones. And so I was really impressed with Oregon Mountain. They, what we had Coach Ban on last week, and we told him we're not going against them again. And I think Oregon Mountain might have heard that and use it as some fuel. So um, yeah, I don't even know what the expertise on this district is. It's a Conference USA similar type of division, like where anyone can beat anyone. But it's good. We have 4 teams in playoff spots. Um, I think Mayfield and Oregon Mountain will be higher than 12 and 13 once we get to the playoffs. I think Cruises might be a little lower, but we're in good position. And those spots aren't bad either. I mean, we can go an upset alert like Farmington did last year. So it's really exciting. I'm just, like we always say, like we don't want to play each other. That's going to be tough if we play each other in
Yeah.
the playoffs. But let's wish good juju on that we don't.
Yeah, um, there's still a lot of games to be played. There's still the district tournament. Um, you mentioned, and I'm going to sound like a broken record here, but I want to get it clear. And also, it's just good to remind as we were slowly growing our following as well. This might be your first
Hmm.
episode watching it. You have your coaches poll, and then you have what um, Max Preps does. It does all the calculations or whatever. Uh, is this going to change? Is there another criteria that's going to come in here after the regular season and it's going to change everything up? I'm thinking right now of like the college football playoffs, right? Where it's like the committee is saying something the entire time. I'm wearing Notre Dame unironically, where Notre Dame is in all season, and then all of a sudden they pull the rug from under them, and it's like, oh, actually, Miami's on top of you. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
is there another factor that comes in? Do the coaches polls already get calculated in this, or is that something that's going to change? Do you know?
So with like max preps rankings and all that, or
Yeah, or just the state rankings. When it's all said and done, district's over, district tournament is over, and they're making the bracket. Are they just going to straight up look at max preps, or are we going to get a surprise here?
no? I've had this pulled up because I've been thinking the same thing. So the
Okay,
criteria for seeding and selection is finish in regular season district play. So they take that into account. Head to head, if you're with LaQuave or someone, you know how that works. Wins against district champions, regardless of class. So that's where all these big tournaments come into play, where you want to, somehow get matched up with like a good 3A school that'll win. And then overall record, and then max preps rankings, and then the member school input, which is the coaches pool, where they
okay,
seed all of them in their own words. So all that somehow gets into the criteria, and they'll kind of do it. JP Murrieta for the anime does a good job of explaining it during the selection show. So I need to pay attention to it whenever he puts it out. He'll explain, like, make sure that teams and parents know that this is where they did, their criteria points here were better than this team, but they also won the head to head. So like they're above this team.
okay.
So it's actually a not a smooth process, but the process is explained rather well. So when people get confused of why we're playing Oregon Mountain for the 5th time, like Cruces Oregon Mountain, it's just the luck of the
Yeah,
draw, and that coach's input thing might be the biggest one, but they do a good job of making sure that each criteria is met and like explaining it. So I know a lot of people hate on the NMAA, but they have a process. Let them be there. They're not trying to take sides and whatnot. So yeah, there's a lot that goes into it.
I don't know. I don't know. There's a
All
lot
right,
of people.
Isaiah.
There's a lot of people that'll just say that it favors the North.
Mm, yeah,
if it's because oh, they played better competition, or there's just more votes going that way. I mean, whenever you have a coaches poll,
hmm,
I think we talked about it for football. Unless you're publicly announcing what coaches voted where, and if it's anonymous, there's always going to
yeah,
be something fishy, and it's anonymous, right? So um,
yeah.
I'm
Well,
already
only the
accepting the
NMAA
fact.
knows.
Only enemy. Okay. Um,
Yeah.
I'm already accepting the fact that Cruces is probably going to play either Mayfield or Oregon Mountain, just of where they're at 12 and 13.
Mm.
No matter who wins at what point, they're just going to keep. Oregon Mountain will probably beat Cruces one more time, and then Mayfield will go and beat Centennial or something, and it's just like, okay, what do we do with these guys because they just um, can't put them anywhere. But
Yeah,
it'd be nice if they can move down a little bit more, but it's hard to really see where they'll go. And then let's not forget or I'm sorry, Alamogordo. I should have put them on there too. They're at 15. So
yeah,
we're looking at 5 teams in our district that are playoff quality teams, which means that you can't still overlook Alamogordo. Sorry, even in the tournament, right? Because
yeah,
the tournament is a little bit more fast paced. You're playing a little bit more consistently. So you could get tired, and we're already beating each other up. So let's say Cruces and Centennial play one another. Cruces wins, but some guys get banged up and they got to go play Alamogordo now. You know,
yeah,
that's a reality that can happen too. So there's some crazy stuff that could happen in the tournament.
yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of basketball. Like even with baseball, like you
Yeah.
explained that to me, it's very similar. Maybe they should, I don't know, take out our district tournament, or I don't know, like maybe just play each other once. But yeah, it's a lot of games where playing the same people.
You play the same people over and over again. I don't know. I don't know, man. I mean, right now, I'm looking at the Cruces games because I want to see the games next week, but they're at 21-3. They've played
Hmm.
24 games. You still got state. You're still not done with your regular season, and you still have a district tournament. So if you win
Yep.
all of those, you got another 10, 12 games left to play.
Yeah.
That's that's half an NBA season.
Come on, basketball. Let's give these kids a break. Sheesh.
Sheesh is
But
serious.
I mean, it's also fun too. Like I wish football was. I mean, it can't be, but like to have that many games, I'm like, yeah, that's nice.
Well, let's look into some of those games. You have Cruces. Las Cruces Bulldogs will be
Big
hosting
time
the
games,
Alamogordo um, Tigers. I forgot
and
their
they
mascot.
barely beat them. Remember
Yeah, that was close.
0-2.
They were in Alamogordo, so we just watched it on our phone. But we're like, oh man, this is a yeah.
Hmm.
So I mean, nobody is safe here. And then Cruces is going to play for the last time. That'll be the last game for Cruces. Will be the Centennial Hawks. That one will be at Las Cruces High School. So that one will be fun. That's going to be an
Yeah,
important one for seeding for the district tournament. Like I said, you don't want to be playing the tough teams back to back like that. So seeding is really important there.
and
And
Oregon
then
Mountain, bro, they have a chance. They have a big week. They play Centennial Tuesday.
mhm,
Uh, I'm having a blank. I
I
think
got you. I
Mayfield
got
last
you.
game, if that's
Yep, they
correct.
play Mayfield on Thursday.
I
Friday.
mean, and I mean, if the other Centennial and Cruces somehow lose, they have tough opponents too. I mean, then what happens then? I don't even know what the everyone might finish at like a 9-3 or whatever the final one is, and I think it might go down to like head to head, obviously, and then like points allowed in district with, if they're the same record. So I don't know. It's a good problem to have, but poor teams, they're probably just tired of playing each other.
Yeah, no, yeah, I mean that's something that I think coaches need to say, and hopefully we have some really good coaches in our district that I don't
We
want to
do.
speak for them, um, but once you get into state, hopefully that happens and you don't play somebody in your district, but everybody's tricks, where they're going to go, you know everything about them. Once you get into state, it's almost like you can play a little bit more freely. Where that move that you've done, you know, I'm thinking of Nathaniel, who's able to really do well against Cruces, right? But he's always going down to the basket. He's got this move.
Hmm.
You saw how well he was able to do the first game of district. Second game, he struggled a little bit more. He still got his shots in. He still got
Yeah.
his licks, but it wasn't the same. Now you're a clean slate, man, and now even that move that you've done 100 times, your opponent hasn't seen it yet, and so you almost have to mentally change everything when that happens because it's been 2 months and everybody's just played each other. It's just
Yeah.
6 teams just playing
I guess
uh,
I know
a round
before
robin.
before the let's it says on the criteria page for the NMAA in 2014 they passed a board vote where district schools can play each other in the first round of state. So before then, like it seems like they were trying to mix in, make sure teams weren't meeting each other again. I think they should probably get rid of that vote and or vote again at least. It seems kind of like a cop out or like a just a
Hmm.
easier way to see teams now that they can play district foes. But yeah, that'd be interesting if they ever kind of bring, or maybe coaches can bring that up in a meeting or something like to put that rule back into play where they can't play district opponents in that first round.
Yeah, I could see both ends of that. Where if Mayfield, let's say, is truly at the end of this is the 14th seed. Let's just say,
Hmm.
right? And Cruises ends up being the 3 seed. If that's truly what the matchup needs to be, I'm actually okay with it that having to be that because I don't want to end up
Yeah,
being like, oh, you're a 2 seed, but you're gonna end up playing the 8 seed because that's how your
yeah, that's
district
true.
plays out. You know what I mean? So that's probably why that happened, and that's probably more annoying than all right, yeah, Cruises is gonna play Mayfield. It is what it is.
Yeah,
They ended up at 14 because otherwise you're not rewarding a 2 seed a true 14 seed or a 15 seed, right?
yeah, that's
That is
true.
big. That's a bigger mess, I think. So
Yeah,
that's probably why that happened. Something crazy probably happened in 2014 where
yeah,
a number one seed, and it's probably someone up north where it was 15, 16, 17. I'm sorry, 16, 15, 14. There's like a bundle of them down there that were all in the same, and they ended up playing like a 10 seed instead of the 16 seed, and they lost. Something like that
yeah,
probably happened because when there's a rule, that means there was something bad that happened when it came about. You know what I mean? Think of every law
yeah,
that we
that's true.
have, right? It's like we have a specific case to point to where it's like, yep, this is why we make the rule. So
Yeah.
yeah, it is what it is. But I do want to get a not a prediction. I think both of us can kind of explain why either of these teams can win. On Tuesday, Centennial is playing Oregon Mountain.
Hmm.
Those teams there. I mean, that's a 9 versus a 12 seed. There's already parents reaching out to you asking you why is Oregon Mountain 12? Why when
Yeah.
they beat a top 5 team, right? So there's going to be some change here. Um, what does Centennial have to do to win this game against Oregon Mountain? We just saw Centennial go, and I mean it was exactly what I had said of Cooley 2 just running downhill, and you can't stop that freight train, man. And Mayfield just couldn't. They stuck with them for a long time. We sat with Isaiah's dad, and he was explaining to us that the defense, the 1-3-1 worked really well. Hey, I don't care what you got running. If it's a fast break and Cooley 2 is coming down that court, you put your body there, bro, and hopefully you don't break it. Get a charge or something. Um, so with that being said, how does Centennial win this game against Oregon Mountain? Because Oregon Mountain is just a different breed. They just I don't know. They play differently. So tell me a
Yeah.
little bit, and then I'll talk about Oregon Mountain. Then we can flip.
Yeah. I think the first game we saw Centennial dominate on the boards, and that's the biggest thing. And obviously, you want to out rebound any team. They have the size. I know Oregon Mountain has a couple guys like Logan Cargis. They have a sophomore. I forget his name. I think it's Josiah Rogers. But Centennial's big boys are meaty guys like Cooley
Mm-hmm.
too, Ruiz Labarine, Ty Dollar. Um, but yeah, I'll flip it kind of. I think if Oregon Mountain wants to avenge that loss, they're gonna have to kind of maybe stick to the 1-3-1 zone or type of zone where they take Cooley out of it. And for Centennial, I mean, Ben Trujillo for Mayfield made that choice. Either let Cooley 2 go off and beat you or let them shoot over the zone and beat you. But I'd probably take a bet on the perimeter shots because they're not going to fall down all the time and make them prove that they can shoot. And then maybe you could adjust that zone to kind of defend the perimeter more. We don't know too much about basketball, but that seems like a possible thing they can do.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's hard to pick, but not that you're telling me to pick a team, but it's a very it's going to be about who's makes those corrections, and both are great coaches, Vince Carrillo, and then Coach McBroom. We've seen them make in-game adjustments. They can just keep getting better. I mean, you play these opponents so many times, you got to find new ways to beat someone. So, yeah, that's my idea. If Oregon Mountain wants to win, they're gonna have to stick to that zone and take Cooley out of it.
Yeah, stick to the zone, and I think limit what I've been starting to notice now as I keep score and I split the teams in half. My hand stays on one team longer than the other, so they go on these runs. If you
Yeah,
can limit how effective the run is, they're going to go on runs. Centennial is
hmm
going to go on a run. Oregon Mountain is going to go on a run. Max is going to drop a couple threes, and then I mean Emmett, who just got the uh, school record for most 3 points made in a career.
yeah.
I mean
Oh yeah,
that's
Emmett.
that is the 3 point shooter of Oregon Mountain, and even going back to the Oñate days, right? And so you already have a shooter who is a killer, and then you have Max on the wing, and then you have Nathaniel who would come in and drive the ball and either pick up a foul or get an and one, but he's aggressive that way. Um, that's going to be what all of that needs to mesh together somehow. Um,
Yeah, and we've seen
and
it
we kind of
against
saw
Cruises.
glimpse. We've seen glimpse of only with cruises. Why is that?
Yeah, yeah.
Only
Student section, I guess.
it's
It amps
the
them up.
student section. It was. I mean, there was no school on Friday, so Oregon Mountain didn't really have much of a student section. Um,
Hmm
but cruises showed up, and that was a game that I thought we all told Coach Ben off camera, but we all told Coach Ben that we thought Cruces was going to win. So
Yeah.
apologize to Oregon Mountain, but we're all believers. We can do it. I think Centennial needs to on the other end give Cooley to the ball, man. Give to he
Mhm.
opens up everything. I'm not saying that these other shooters aren't good.
No, you're
What I'm
exactly right.
saying is that if you can just suck everybody into the center, and then boom, now you got yourself an outlet and an easy three. There's some sneaky shooters that Centennial has, and I think they can be really effective. Where we might be talking about this next week, where I was like, yeah, why did we even think that Centennial was even going to make this a game? I think Centennial can pull away just as easily as it could be close. I don't think Oregon Mountain can pull away with a lead. It's going to have to be close, but I do think Centennial has the ability to dominate. And their formula is run through Cooley 2, outlet pass, get your shots, and you'll just randomly see that score just go up and up and up. It's sneaky, it's not flashy. We looked at each other for the Mayfield Centennial. We're like, dang, look the score. They just keep scoring. You don't even
Yeah,
notice when they
it
go on
was like
these runs. It's just boom, boom, boom.
a
Very
2 point
effective.
game up, and then they're up by almost 20.
Yep. Yep. It happens quick.
Yeah, to kind of go off your point though, like yeah, you're right. Centennial has sneaky players, like Anthony Edis, number 0 for Centennial, like a smooth lefty stroke,
Yeah,
and
he's just like, what's up? What's up?
yeah,
Leave me
and
open.
and I kind of mentioned in my column too. I was like, I love his play. I love his energy. He's a leader as a junior. I think he just needs to get that confidence back because he can be the second leading scorer when he wants to. Sometimes he gets the ball and you can kind of tell. I mean, we sat right behind his parents too, and they're yelling the whole time, "Shoot the ball!" I mean, you got that confidence. You know you can make it. So I would encourage him to kind of just, and don't be scared. Like he's capable of being, if Cooley's not on, if they take Cooley out, he could take over a game. I mean,
Yep.
he gives one pump. He's strong and has the handles enough to kind of evade defenders to kind of get to the basket too. Whereas Huntsman's the same way, Trayson Huntsman, but he's more of like a shooter with lengthy and all that. But it'll be interesting, especially when we get to district tournament or even this week. What happens whenever teams take out Cooley too, that we kind of saw glimpses of with Mayfield. But what happens if someone's face guarding him where he doesn't? They deny the ball where doesn't touch it at least once to suck in defenders and whatnot. Like who's gonna be that person to I guess run the offense essentially. Zayden Ariano does a good job as a sophomore point guard, but he's not a typical scorer. But you got to get it to someone else sometimes. So it'll be interesting. I kind of really want to see that happen now before they get to state. It's where these other teams, are going to watch film and let's just take Cooley out of it and we'll win. And so hopefully they get that experience before they get to state, so they can kind of know what to do at that point.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's a really good point. It'll be fun. It'll be fun to see. But you're right. If you can limit and decide, okay, we're gonna let Cooley 2 beat us, or force him to beat us on his own. Maybe the strategy is that to actually, he's gonna get his 20, 25 points, but you just want to make sure everyone else is limited. And so that might be the strategy that Oregon Mountain uses. And
Or
Coach McBroom
just
is,
face guard. What happens if they face guard Cooley the whole time and like just make someone else touch? Like, don't even let him touch the ball because whether they like to go, high low, I think they call it, where Cooley will go to the top of the where the free throw line is, top of the key, and just kind of get the ball, take a couple dribbles, see who's on the wings. Usually, the guy would kind of drift towards Cooley and leave Anthony or Trayson open on the corner for a three. So
mhm.
yeah, I mean, I'd be interested to see if they just take him out and see what goes on from there.
I want to say something. I know this is a longer episode than normal. I think it's just we're zooming here.
Oh,
But
you say it, you say it.
um, do you remember last year when Nathaniel Pete was shy and he wasn't getting that many minutes, and he would be on the floor and it looked like he was scared. He didn't play scared, but he looked worried, like if he didn't belong there. And he kept
Yeah,
looking over to the coaches and he was kind of nervous, but he was just an absolute pest. He was
yeah,
just like he was poking that ball out. You couldn't dribble around him. You couldn't put the ball on the ground 10 feet around the kid because he was just so vigilant. What you just said there, I haven't seen it this year. Now that
hmm,
he's a starter, he's more of a leader on the team. Maybe he feels like he's got to concentrate more on scoring, or I don't know. I don't know. But for this game, if you just put, if you just wake sophomore year, sophomore Nathaniel and say, Nathaniel, make sure he doesn't score more than 25 points.
yeah. Be that defensive specialist he was last year. I mean, that's
That's what he
essentially what he
was.
was.
Yep.
Yeah,
They brought him in just for
interesting.
that. Inbounds,
Yeah,
late in the game, just he'll do exactly what you tell him to do. He was a lockdown defender. He's not
hmm,
bad now. It's just there's a different defense now that I'm noticing. Um, just from like just eyeballing it, no one is playing man to man. There's a lot more zone, and when they
hmm,
are man to man, they're kind of off and trying to make them dribble to one side or the other. It's that type of style. Last year, it was Nathaniel. Don't let him bounce that ball, and he would,
yeah,
yes sir. You know what I mean? And so that might be a strategy that not only Oregon Mountain uses, but what teams need to do to Cooley too. Now challenge is balls on your court, Cooley. What you got? You know what I mean? So there's two sides of the coin there, but I want to see Nathaniel be a pest again, and
yeah.
and I think that'll allow for a lot more of fast breaks. It'll allow for Max to get to that corner and just boom, fast break, shoot it off to the side, let him bust that three. You have Emmett, you have all these guys who do really well, right? And so I don't know, that's going to be a good one. And then poor
That's a good
Centennial has
take.
to go. Centennial has to go now, play Tuesday against Oregon Mountain, who's this is it. They got to win because
Yeah,
they're down there, right? And so they want to separate themselves from Mayfield. They want to separate themselves from Alamogordo, and so Oregon Mountain is a force. And then they have to go, and Centennial has to then return and play Cruces, right? So I
yeah,
think those two there, poor Centennial for the boys' side, all eyes are on them this week. It's their
yeah.
week
They got a
to.
tough finish.
Yep, yep. What are your thoughts on that Cruces Centennial game?
I mean, I put in the past columns like it's potentially going to be a district championship game. You know, I'm not gonna take away from Morgan Mountain, making it not a championship game, but um, Centennial needs to win those big ones. I feel, and the chance to do that starts tomorrow when they take on Oregon Mountain. If they take care of business there, I feel really confident that they get flip flop from the last performance against Cruces. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to go to that one. I think Isaiah went. Um, and so I'm interested to see how they play Cooley 2 again. Cruces does. Um, but I just feel like that game they didn't have their usual, um, I guess, partners show up with Anthony Edis and Trazen Huntsman and all them, and even Reese. Like Reese is capable of getting double digits or getting a double double as well because I mean he's like second in the 5A in averaging or getting double doubles. I think Cooley 2 is first. So I'm just interested to see players outside of Cooley in that Cruces game, and that's what it's going to take to knock off. I guess this year's kind of king of the district.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
We'll be there for
I
both, right?
think, yeah, I'll yeah, for sure. I'll be there for both. I think that what Oregon Mountain did to Cruces, Centennial needs to pay close attention to what they did.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's a
They
copy and paste league
really
with everyone.
they had no matter what defense they were playing, they had a man on Ben Walton. And they
Hmm.
said Ben is not going to beat us. And then Jaden is the one who went off and did well. It looked like they said Jaden is gonna we're gonna have to make Jaden is gonna have to score 50 to win this game essentially. Ben
Hmm.
Walton only had 5 points. Talon only had 6. So really, the only one who stood out was Jaden, and they eliminated Ben, and that really is what slowed Las Cruces down against Oregon Mountain. They did a really good job of doing that, and I think that's the blueprint to beating Cruces. They
Do you
love to
remember
play
if they
fast.
Do you remember if they eliminated the 3-2 or was it just Cruz just missing the threes? I don't mean to interrupt you again. Sorry.
Um, I can't remember actually.
I think they were they. I remember a couple of takes and they were in the face of Zayden Clark, Dominic Latrell, who's usually their 3-point guys. Um, but yeah,
And
no,
I'm sorry, they didn't shut down Ben. I was looking at the other game because I was looking at a previous one, and so I just saw. I apologize, Ben. Ben had, I mean, he had 8 points in the fourth quarter, 3 in the third, and he had 5 in the second. So forgive me. It was it. He was being guarded, and I do still think that's still the take I have. But he scored a lot more than I gave him credit for. Struggled the first game though. Sorry to bring up old stuff, but um, still Ben was the target, and you could tell that. I don't know if you. I was like, look at him. They won't get off of him. They were just wherever he went. Um, Dominic Luttrell didn't have a 3 pointer, and he was the big difference maker for the Mayfield game. So their 3 point shooters didn't do what they usually do. I'm trying to look
yeah,
here. Thus, Cruces only had one 3 pointer in the whole game, and that's
that's
not
right.
characteristic of them. Um,
Yeah,
I don't think they start as shooters. I think they have a really good job. They have guys who know how to get to the paint, but um, they're shooters. They got shooters. Prince, Dominic, all these guys who come in late in the game. That's their role is to make those shots. But I
yeah,
think secondary to eliminating Ben and limiting Jaden. Jaden is the one who really he had 7 points against Oregon Mountain. What they also did is there was 3 minutes left in the game, and they held that ball forever. It felt like they Oregon Mountain killed that time. They
they did.
they enjoyed that clock. So say whatever you want about the shot clock, but
Don't get
hey, the
Frenchie
rules are the
started.
rules. The rules are the rules. Whatever.
But speaking of,
Yeah.
of dominance, the I have a planned column coming out for the girls Centennial team, and they're rocking, dude. They're the young class, the sophomore class is producing. The seniors show out. So I don't know. They have a chance, I think, to clean the district this week and finish undefeated in regular season, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yep, this is the standings here. Let's get into it. Let's get into the girls' basketball. Centennial's
Yeah,
17-6, but they are at 13 in a row.
yeah, 13 in a row.
13. And then Cruces is at 9.
I
And
love
maybe,
the girls side right now with the how it looks in max preps. Like we don't have a chance of playing each other with Mayfield going down to 11. So if that's the case, like that's a good little sign right there that we can get some scores. And Mayfield will play Las Lunas if the max preps stuff comes true, and they've already upset them once. They're the only team to beat Las Lunas in this from this Las Cruces area. So yeah,
let me highlight this real quick. This is for me, this is a call out for me. I have not paid too much attention to Oregon Mountain girls. I want to formally apologize. They're doing their thing. They are 17 in the state right now. Hey,
they're right there.
let's just do something.
Let's
Are
get
you gonna,
in.
you know, how is that gonna happen? I don't know because Centennial is they're gonna play Centennial, and Coach Abney has those girls like a well-oiled machine. So
Yes, sir.
I don't know where Oregon Mountain finds some space to move in that direction to be able to take a lead, but maybe they find it against Mayfield. Maybe they find a
Yeah,
win there. They go. They're going to be hosting. That's going to be the game of the week for Oregon Mountain there because there is where you're fighting for a playoff spot and you're fighting for some respect and some notoriety here where you we can have 4 teams on both the boys and the girls going to play in state, which is awesome. Um, so I love to
yeah.
see
Let's
it.
go, Oregon Mountain.
I'm glad
Sneak
they're
in there,
they're
baby. Come on.
they're doing their work silently, um, and I'm gonna make sure I keep an eye on them and see how they do. But yeah, the Centennial Mayfield is who Oregon Mountain girls are playing this week, and so all eyes on Oregon Mountain to make sure that they can fit into that 16 seed. Let's get them there. They still got a couple games left. But yeah, not to take away from Centennial and the girls who are on a historic run here. Are we getting close to a record? Have you looked into that, Jonah?
No, but I'll talk to Coach Abney Wednesday. Maybe I'm sure he would be the one to know. Um, and it very well could be. It very well could be. There were some good
Yeah,
teams with Coach Labarine whenever he was a girls' coach. So I'll have to check with that. But that's a good point. I should look into that.
we got to be getting close, I would say. But
I mean, Oregon Mountain to kind of go on the point with Oregon Mountain. I mean, they could go on a freaking tear in the tournament, and if you win that district tournament, you get automatic bid into the playoffs. So you knock someone out. So yeah, we never know.
yeah, you're right. You never know. I will mention Oregon Mountain's district wins are Gadsden, Alamo, Gadsden, Alamo. So they've struggled to inner city, and that's who they
Yeah,
got left. They're going to play Centennial. What did it look like? They lost 66-31 against Centennial on the
oh
30th of
really?
January, and then they're going to play Mayfield. They did have a close one against Mayfield. It was 54-51 against
Oh wow.
Mayfield on the 3rd of February. So
Yeah,
even one win, you don't have to win them both. I'm not
yeah.
saying they don't have a chance against Centennial,
Centennial.
but you get doubled up like that, and I'm not gonna bet on that game. I'll say, I, so Oregon Mountain needs to finish off the season strong, and let's see, 35 was the point difference on that game against Centennial. Let's make it 20. Good, good goal. Let's have
Show some
goals,
progress.
achievable
Yeah,
goals here. So
There we go.
exciting for the girls. Shout out to them. Shout out to all of the. I mean, Cruces. I mean, a big fan of Coach Selby. Still a big fan of Ben. Coach Ben Trujillo. And Mayfield has some has some really good athletes there as well to really make some noise. Where I don't think. Oop, I still have the thing up for them, but I don't think that their ranking is showing them enough respect because I think Mayfield is a solid team. So we'll see. Cool. Let me knock out some state and then let's wrap up here. We got state and then also spring sports, just some baseball, just to introduce. But for wrestling, the boys had their regional tournament this past weekend, and the girls. Let's start with the girls. The girls, Las Cruces girls wrestling team is the number one ranked team in the state, Jonah, in the state
Let's go,
to this day.
dogs.
So,
To
uh,
day.
we are we're in an exciting time here for Las Cruces Bulldog football. Coach Navarro has done a really good job of creating a culture of winning. Um, it's been happening for a long time, and now you got some really good seniors that are coming into the state tournament, right? So those are the rankings that just came out. The girls are the number one team in the state for that, and so that's going to be fun to see how that team does next week. Boys and girls all play to all wrestle together one event for state, so we can keep an eye on that on the weekend. As far as wrestlers for our 5A district, or yeah, for this Dirty South area, um, we have a first placer in Matthias Soto. He got first in the 133 division. He's from Gadsden. So we have a
Let's go,
Gadsden
Gadsden.
number one placer there. So shout out to them. Caleb Gonzalez, he's won regionals 3 years in a row. I saw him post each one of his regional matches to win first was a pin in the first round. So
Oh,
the
Kobe
boy's a
Gonzalez. You
dog.
said Caleb. Kobe.
I always mess up.
It's
Colby
all right. It's a C.
Gonzalez.
It's a C.
Colby Gonzalez got first in the 145 for the Las Cruces Bulldogs. Carlos Gamboa got third in the 160. Mateo Montoya got sixth in the 172. So he is still in the running there to wrestle for state. Riley Mendez got fourth, and he's in the 189. And then Alicio, who just won his 100th match during district, or for the district when they won district against Centennial. He wrestled in the I'm sorry, in the 215. So Alicio Cicinero got third place in the 215 weight class. And then we have a couple placers in Silver City, uh, uh, as well as Deming. We have Vito Ferrano, he got sixth, and a Chase Jaramillo, who got fourth. So we have some Dirty South representatives who will be wrestling this next weekend for state. So excited to see them coming up. Um, I clicked the wrong again. I put the wrong graphic on
State
their state
champs.
next week. I Isaiah was late notice, so I I had all the way that it's set up is organized by scenes, and then I switched it to a two-man scene, and that's how that happened. But cool. So that's wrestling. Excited to see that happening. And then let's wrap it up. We were able to go to the media day this past week for LCPS. That was cool. We didn't really
Mhm.
participate much in anything. Just excited. It was exciting to get an invitation from Michelle Ronga, the athletic director for LCPS. She sent us an email with some information, gave us a list of the students that were going to be attending, and it was well organized. It was at the baseball park. I don't know, what were your takeaways, Jonah, from it?
It was a good experience for the kids. They did a good job of organizing it. everything ran smooth. I mean, the kids had like a little social media station where they can
Mhm.
kind of do TikToks and all that. I mean, Coach Gil Padilla did a TikTok. That's pretty cool. You were interacting with
That
them
was
at
cool.
the.
I don't
It
know.
was funny.
I thought
It
of at
was
least
funny.
six different words before I thought of cool, but it was funny. I laughed.
And then they had the little game station where you were just making them hit walk off home runs and seeing their celebrations. That was pretty cool. You had a lot of reels from that. So yeah, I hope they enjoyed it because they deserve that experience. I kind of went into the media section, heard their answers, and there's a good little turnout of reporters there as well. So
Mhm.
yeah, it was a whole experience for them. So I hope they enjoyed it.
Yeah, next time, maybe we can make sure that, and I'm sure Miss Ranga would be okay with it, with you being able to ask questions. I felt bad for Nick, and it was the bulletin. I don't know what his name is, but there was the representative and the reporter from the bulletin that was there, and they just stood there all day for like 3 hours asking these kids questions. And at some point, you could tell that they were kind of working really hard to ask the right questions or get the responses from kids. um
Yeah,
we've done interviews with kids, whether it's at the Big Time Hoop Showcase or even when we had on the podcast at Oregon Mountain, and it's not the easiest thing to be interviewing um athletes at that age.
yeah,
A lot of times they're shy, they're not as well spoken, so it's an experience for them to be able to answer. But
yeah,
at the same time, it's like maybe some different questions, just to help them not ask so many, right? It's not to remove
yeah,
them, but the fact of just having is like, okay, cool, we got another person with another perspective, because it was just two guys asking all the questions. um, Dude with the camera behind, I think, started asking questions too, because he could tell that they were running out of ideas of what to ask, because every station had all these kids. And you're I mean, you represented there was, as listed here, baseball, softball, track and field, and then powerlifting, and then you also had the athletic trainers that joined as well. So I thought that was really cool. So
yeah. That was cool.
what do you ask athletic trainers? I know I did a couple where I was asking them what was the most challenging part of the body to deal with as far as wrapping. That was neat. One of the girls is like the head. Of wrapping the head. I was like, okay.
Let's hope she doesn't wrap anyone's head. That's a serious
I was like,
injury.
I was thinking of a joint, but that's okay. An elbow, a shoulder, something. But
She's like,
hey,
maybe you should ask me a
th-
better question.
that's why, exactly. I was about to say, it's like, that's why I'm not a journalist. That's why I leave it to you to do the
It's
job
hard.
of asking
It's hard.
questions. But it's fun though. I mean, asking the question and just getting whatever response you get, that was neat. So
Yeah.
yeah, but good for them. Baseball's getting started. I know that they will, or they are already. They think there's a tournament here. This happened last week at Edgewood. I think it was, for Cruces was there. I don't know if Oregon Mountain went as well.
Yeah, I
But
couldn't tell if it was
slowly,
a scrimmage or like a scrimmage tournament or official regular season thing. But yeah, you're right. I saw some post about it.
I think there was a first home run. Some they recorded one of the at bats, and it so happened to be a home run for the Cruces side. So shout out to them. We're slowly going to start to put baseball into its own category, as baseball starts getting into regular season. Obviously, softball as well. There's, I'm really excited to see, there's a lot of the media at this point, for those people who don't understand how the media works for the teams, um, booster clubs hire someone to take pictures and follow them. It's a lot of work to do it, and that's why I have chosen to just kind of stick to this format. And I just have full respect for the photographers, for all the athletics that do it, because it's a lot of work. So that they get hired on and they do that, and so it looks like Cruces High School right now, for baseball, has someone who's doing their media, and I think softball as well. Mayfield, I see they got some things going. So those are always fun to interact with, but we'll do our best to follow and do our own on the boots research, and follow baseball the same way we have with basketball and football. So um, anything else? Any little nuggets of information that you want for spring sports, you are a you're annoying the heck out of anybody who is in the hiring process for football right now, and rightfully so, man. Somebody has to, because in 6 months from now, we're going to be like, why is Oregon Mountain not winning games? Why are they not? And it's like, well, it's February and they don't have a coach, right?
Yeah.
Mayfield, why are what? Okay, cool. You're in a lower district now. Oh, the this of Centennial got our players. Bro, it's been 10 years. Get over it. That's over with. Centennial has their own identity. Mayfield has to get their own identity. Remake
You
another
tell
one.
him, Carnal. You
So,
tell
with
him.
all that being said, let that be clipped. Your inside information. I know you just released something this morning talking about more of an opinion piece. You have some updates, but for the most part, it's like, hey man, we're getting nothing, right? And so I think you're one of the only ones who's rattling cages and saying, hey, what's going on here? Um, you want to give us a little bit of inside information there for those people who haven't subscribed
Yeah.
yet? How about you go do that right now? We're almost
Yeah.
done,
Go ahead and
anyways.
subscribe. Yeah. So I mean, I've heard from a coach. I'm not going to say his name, but he's kind of been helping me get uh, the names and all that. So I've heard that Kenny Sanchez, the former Oregon Mountain head coach, has been linked to Mayfield's position um, as
Okay.
the quote unquote unofficial leader, which should be interesting. You know, maybe it could be a better match for him going down to the 5A level and then kind of just being with Mayfield. But I'm also not taking away that the athletic director at Mayfield, Caleb Hull, who coached at Oñate a while back, and also assistant coach at Cruces, he might be in it for in the running as well. I know he has a younger son who's coming up. He might. I've heard that he wants to get back into the coaching ranks whenever his son comes up, but that's not taken away from he can start joining now. There's no rule against an athletic director being and also a head coach. A lot of the smaller schools do it. Um, I don't know if the workload would be a lot to handle, but I mean, it's not impossible. And then I'm also hearing about Maximus Buckingham, who's an interesting candidate. I would kind of like to see him as well as maybe Coach Michael Gein get a chance at Oregon Mountain. But Buckingham's been linked to Oregon Mountain's job and Chaparral's job. He's from Hot Springs. He coaches there. He's the head coach for the last 2 years. They're 3A. He's brought him to the state playoffs twice in his 2 years. He was like a military kid, so he went from state to state and ended up
Hmm.
playing his senior year in 2018 at Oregon Mountain. Finished there and then went to UTEP for a couple of years and then like got his bachelor's degree in biochemistry. So like a smart dude.
Wow.
Um, yeah, now he teaches math at Hot Springs as well as coaching there. So, um, I mean, taking a team to the state playoffs 2 years in your first 2 years, no matter what classification, is a huge thing. So
Mm-hmm.
that was
Mm-hmm.
an exciting name to hear. So that's what I'm hearing right now. I'm looking to see more candidates. Like you said, I'm rattling cages. Hopefully, I'm not hurting anyone's feelings and whatnot, but that's just part of the job sometimes. So um, I'm doing what I can to bring the coverage that people want. People should know.
Yeah. Yeah, I see a lot of people on Facebook like, well, what's going on with the Mayfield job and what's going on there, that just don't know that you actually have been following this for a long time. And not only for
December.
Mayfield but also for Oregon Mountain. You were on it. I mean, hopefully somebody knew at Oregon Mountain, but I thought that was pretty cool when the news finally came out. It wasn't that I wanted Coach Sanchez. I don't know the guy. It's not like I wanted Coach Sanchez out, but the
Yeah.
facts were the facts. You were hearing things, and he was won like what, like 6 games the last 3 years or something. I mean, anybody who we're over here at Coach Hooten's throat for what he's doing there. It's like it's part of the job, you know.
Yes,
So
comes with the job.
nothing personal, but yeah, man, I think you're doing really, really cool things, and everyone's like, "Did you read Jonas?" I was like, "I don't know. I'm just like everyone else. I get the email when you post it, and it'll be like at random times, like Sunday morning, you post something. I'm like, dude, I'm trying to go to church. Chill out."
Read it at church, brother. The
Oh,
priest will
dear
forgive you.
Lord, the Lord is listening.
Yeah, so if you guys, yeah, go ahead and subscribe to Anna Prep Co Sports on Substack. It really helps me out, no matter whether it's a free subscription or a paid subscription for $5 a month or $50 a year. I'm looking to get sponsors. I've already been in talk with a few local businesses. I have more talks this week, and I want people to know that it's not going to affect my coverage. I'm not going to let other people kind of say what to cover and whatnot. I'm sticking to what I think is best for Las Cruces, the community to know, and I won't be afraid to bring up hard topics. Sometimes we need to hold people accountable and stuff. So just trying to do what I think is best for the community, and I really appreciate everyone. For I'm almost at 100 subscribers. That may not seem like a lot, but that's a small victory, and I'm really proud of it.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. Congrats. No, we've slowly been growing this together. But as far as your writing, I mean, since day one, um, you make this thing go because of your knowledge. I've slowly just been trying to absorb all the information you have. But you really have been the professional for longer than a lot of us. Even back to your college days when you were at the Aggie Roundup, right? You were going to the WAC tournaments and covering them when, back in what, 2015? Was it 16?
Yeah, it
17?
was like 16,
Yeah.
17, one of those. That's far.
Yeah.
Wow, world.
I'm getting old, dude. Yeah.
And I
Look,
kind of want to. Should I tease a
it's
story that
wiser.
I'm gonna? Should I tease
Yeah,
it?
tease it.
Should I tease it?
Tease it.
Like
Give me a little
a little
tease.
tease,
See what
a
it
little
tastes
tease
like.
there. See what it tastes like. Taste the glory. So I reached out to a professional baseball player. I'll just say his name right here. He used to play at New Mexico State, Nick Gonzalez. I have a story going to come up hopefully in the next couple of weeks. He just reported to spring training, I believe. So he's a busy guy. So when we find the time to talk, I'm really excited to mention what he's doing. And he chose to play for Team Mexico in the World Baseball Classic, and that's a huge stage. He's already on the professional level with the MLB. So yeah, stay tuned and ready for that story to come out.
Yeah, that's a big tournament. I mean, that one always, it's every other year, I believe, the baseball classic, maybe every three.
Okay, I
Um,
don't know. Yeah, I feel
but
like we
but
just had
dude,
one the other year.
it's just awesome. Um, like it takes over the media world. The ESPN is just all baseball. It's just, I love baseball. I'm so excited
It,
for it. And then
I
having
knew you
it
would
being
love that.
played like nationally, dude, it's so cool. I'm trying to think, is Alex Bregman in? Is he playing? He's playing for
Yeah,
Team
he's Team
USA. Alex
USA.
Bregman.
Yeah,
Yeah, and he's from Albuquerque too. So that's another
let's
guy
go.
that's in the area. So we got some dudes for baseball.
In fact, in
So
in fact, in Mexico State has three former Aggies playing for Team Mexico: Nick, Joey Ortiz, and forgive me, I can't remember the last guy, but he's a pitcher. He played on the 2021 or 2020 team, that COVID year
huh.
and stuff. So, and then we have like five dudes reporting to spring training for the MLB teams. In addition to those three names, I think it's Kyle Bradish, and I cannot remember the other one. I think he was a pitcher as well. But yeah, there's a lot of New Mexico State products, representing at the at that level.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Sweet. Well, thanks guys for watching. We're gonna head out. That's it. We don't have Isaiah to close us out, so just make good
Go
choices.
ahead.